Two, gumaganda ang paligid kung bawat tao ay puno ng pag-ibig.
Pag-ibig, or in English, we call love. Why is it so hard to love the things that belong to us? White people want to tan, dark-skinned people want to be lighter. Some Europeans shave down the humps on their noses. Most Asians use plastic surgery to lift their nose bridge. I hate my curly hair. I hate my flat straight hair. I hate my face. I want Eurocentric features. I hate this. I hate that. I hate you. Racism. Today, Group 1 will delve you into this constant issue in our society, and our main example is China's use of AI to mock Filipinos. We'll analyze it with the three disciplines: social sciences, natural sciences, and humanities. We live in a society where we can't help but seek for each other's approval. As humans, it's normal to want to be liked. We want to feel appreciated, good about ourselves, loved, and well, accepted, belonged. But when you don't get that approval from a group of people, or they mock you for things you can't exactly change, it hurts, doesn't it? You feel like you don't fit in. You question yourself, your identity. Why am I like this? I wish I was different. Why am I different? Why am I getting called a monkey?
Out on the open sea, someone had put together the world's most wobbly karaoke stage.
Go on! Start singing!
We attempt to bypass China and initiate the so-called maritime delimitation talks.
Wrong song! Stupid monkey! We gave you the other lyrics!
Here it is.
Oh, for goodness sake!
Wait! This wasn't in the script!
Or litter that too. Let's all do our part to keep the ocean clean.
The state-run outlet China Daily posted a racist AI-generated video showing Filipinos as monkeys controlled by foreign nations while mocking the 2016 South China Sea Arbitral Award and glorifying water cannon attacks against them. This issue matters deeply because news platforms are meant to inform, not to disseminate dehumanizing tropes that strip away human dignity. It is a direct insult to the nation's dignity, exposes the reliance on dehumanizing propaganda rather than international law to assert maritime claims, and severely heightens diplomatic tensions between the Philippines and China over the West Philippine Sea. When we look at racism through the perspective of social sciences, we aren't just talking about mean words. We are looking how power, systemic behavior, and media shape societal views. In social dynamics, racism is often studied as a tool used to establish dominance, create division, and control how a group of people is perceived on a global scale. A clear example of this dynamic unfolded recently, as covered by international and local reports like FEUR's post-live coverage of the controversy.
A recent AI video related to the West Philippine Sea sparked criticism because many viewed as racism and dehumanizing. Social science, this promotes prejudice and discrimination by reinforcing harmful stereotypes.
Philippine Coast Guard spokesperson Commodore J. Tariela condemned the video, stating that only animals treat fellow humans this way, and those who can follow international laws are even worse than animals, while other reports rightly labeled it as a complete loss of morality and intelligence in China's part. This doesn't just target politicians, it affects the entire Filipino populace on the global stage. It heavily impacts everyday citizens, our fishers out in the sea, frontliners, online users, students, and overseas workers who navigate online spaces. It forces them to witness a humiliating caricature of their national identity, directly damaging our collective social image.
In conclusion, this issue is more than just a conflict between countries. It is also an issue that affects human dignity, identity, and respect. Social science helps us understand the role of power, politics, and media. When we combine these perspectives, we can see the issue more clearly and understand why racism and dehumanization should never be justified. No political conflict should ever be an excuse to take away the dignity of entire people, regardless of race or nationality. Everyone deserves respect, equality, and human dignity.
I am Amela Shane Kabading, ready to tackle the natural sciences of our chosen topic, racism. Now, where did racism originate from in the first place, and how do we as humans perceive race? Well, the answer itself lies within us. Let us dive deep in a part of our brain called the amygdala. Now, according to neuroscientific research, the amygdala often becomes active when we encounter someone of a different race. This immediate subconscious threat signal will then reflect on a person's culture and the traditions they grew accustomed to, thus can also contribute to implicit bias. However, racism does not just come from the amygdala itself. Rather, it forms from multiple neural systems interacting with each other to shape how we properly perceive or see others. Now, you might be asking, if racism is nothing more than just a neural interaction, does this make it a justifiable perception? Well, let me indulge you with the power of the prefrontal cortex, or the PFC for short. The PFC is the brain's executive control center. It also has the ability to calm or regulate the amygdala. Here's how it works. When an automatic bias or impulse is triggered, a well-developed PFC can detect the conflict, recognize that the reaction is based in a stereotype, and actively suppress the biased impulse. A good example of how the amygdala and PFC works together is how we perceive animals. Our amygdala might immediately differentiate cats and dogs based on their features and resemblance, but our PFC categorizes both of them as animals or mammals.
Comparing specific groups of people to monkeys has been used as a tool for racism and dehumanization. But when we look at natural science, this prejudice completely falls apart. Evolutionary biology makes one thing clear, that humans did not evolve from the monkeys living today. Instead, millions of years ago, we simply shared a common ancestor. Every living person today belongs to the exact same species Homo sapiens. No single race is more evolved or less evolved than another. Using animal comparisons to insult people isn't just cruel. It relies on scientific racism. In the 18th and 19th centuries, biased methods like measuring skulls were used to falsely claim that intelligence was tied to race. Modern genetics has entirely debunked these claims. Today, we know that all humans share 99.9% of their DNA, and there is actually more genetic variation within a single racial group than between different races. Science proved that race is a social concept, not a biological hierarchy. Manipulating science to justify prejudice ignores genetic facts.
Scientific fact shows that racism, discrimination, and misinformation are not supported by the evidence. While science promotes equality, human dignity, and responsible stewardship of the natural world.
In natural science, human dignity is backed by evidence. We are all one species deserving equal respect.
Imagine opening social media and seeing an AI-generated video that portrays Filipinos as monkeys. To some, it may seem like just another online post, but from a humanities perspective, it is much more than that. We found out that this type of content reflects a long history of racism and dehumanization. According to historian James Bradley, the term monkey and apes have been used for centuries to portray certain groups of people as less human. Because of this history, these words are not simply insults. They carry deep cultural and historical meaning that promote prejudice and discrimination.
This issue is not only about social media, it is an also ethical issue that concerns our humanity. The main ethical question is it right to use AI to mock or insult another country? My answer is no. AI should be used to help people, not to spread hate, disrespect, or humiliation. The people who use AI also have a responsibility to use it ethically. Every person deserves to be respected and understood, regardless of their nationality, and every culture should be treated with dignity and respect. The video is not entertaining or funny, especially because it promotes racism. It is harmful and can emotionally hurt many Filipinos. Before creating or sharing content like this, people should think about whether their action could offend or hurt others.
As students of the humanities, we believe the better response is not hatred but empathy, respect, and meaningful dialogue that values the dignity of every human being.
Racism is an ever-present issue in a modern society. Millions of people are being oppressed for their race and degraded for their identity. To holistically understand racism as a social issue, using a single lens field cannot quite grasp its full significance. Instead, we need to view it in the lens of the intersection of social sciences, natural sciences, and humanities. These three disciplines work together in unison to give us a comprehensive and integrated explanation. They all tackle every nook and cranny of an issue to make it easier for us to fathom. In this specific context of racism, let's dive deep into the link connecting these three fields. Natural science proves that race is not a biological fact. It shows that human genes do not support dividing people into natural groups, ranks, or hierarchy, while social science shows how a fake biological idea became a real-world problem. It explains how people built real laws, money systems, and social rules around those imaginary groups. While humanities explains why people invented these ideas in the first place, and what it actually feels like to experience them. It looks at historical choices, moral questions, and personal stories. When connected, natural science supplies the empirical facts that race is not biological. Social science maps the structural machinery, how society turned an idea into power and inequality. And humanities provide the moral compass in historical context, why it happened, and why it must be dismantled. Without all three, the picture is incomplete. Biology without sociology ignores real-world oppression, and sociology without history forgets its roots. And history without ethics offers no path forward.
In conclusion, racism cannot be understood just through one perspective. But by combining the natural sciences, the social sciences, and the humanities, we learn that race is not just a biological fact. Here, we learned how society turned it into discrimination, but we learned how every person deserves dignity and respect. I hate those kind of people. That's not how it works, Mr. Tupac. We must treat everybody with dignity and respect. Am I right? Through these three disciplines, we are united by the fact that we can beat racism through our empathy, our knowledge, and simply treating everybody with humanity. And to cite the words of Martin Luther King Jr., I have a dream that my 4 little kids will live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. Hey!
1, 2, gumaganda ang paligid kung bawat tao ay puno ng pag-ibig na